Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, I just got a update on my YouTube channel that somebody left a note in my Harrier GR1 moving up to 10.0 video. It was a short one. I was kind of like, tee hee ha ha, finally. And the vitriol that came out of this poster was classic stupid. Um, but here's the thing: War Thunder is a game, and as a game, I want it to be what I want it to be. I want to play the game I'd like to play. I get my enjoyment out of the game in how I play, and you get your enjoyment out of the game the way you play. The two do not necessarily mean the same thing. I do not particularly care for certain styles of play. I do not like certain maps. I do not like some players. That's just a given. But the real humorous thing about the whole shebang is how personally some of these players take my disdain for some of the things that Gaijin does. Now, they built a great game. It is a truly awesome game. It needs a tremendous amount of work still to this day. And we're 8, 9 years into it. Remember, this game started out as Birds of Prey and has become War Thunder. Now, somebody's going to say, they're two separate games. Like, okay, whatever. War Thunder grew out of Birds of Prey. And I got a copy of it. I just never figured that one out. War Thunder came out. I didn't even know War Thunder came out until I watched a guy named Jingles. And I'm sure anyone who's been in this game long enough will remember Jingles, the mighty Jingles. Hot coffee. Jingles basically opened up my eyes to War Thunder. And at the time, I was kind of in between work. And being in between work, I didn't have a whole lot of money to spend. So it was really nice that this was a free-to-play game. And believe me, getting up through rank 50 took forever at free. And then I came into a little bit of money through work, and my work caught on, and now I'm capable of playing the game a lot more, especially seeing as how I retired. And as a game, it's matured. It's matured a considerable amount. The number of maps has dramatically gone up. Flight models get repaired faster, which I think is absolutely spectacular. It took years to get the P-38 Lightning fixed. It took years to get the LA-5FN adjusted. Um, but then again, Gaijin still creates their own problems. Uh, the Harrier GR1 is a good example of it. The Saab 105 OE is another example of it. Of course, they fixed that one before they put it on the market by dumping the. I, I I don't remember what the Swedish names for the missiles are. Hang on a second. Yeah, Saab 105 OE. Uh, RB05A. Yeah. No, RB24. The RB24J was in there, which is the equivalent of the AIM-9J. And the battle rating of this plane, which was 8.3, they bumped it up a bit, and it's still a pay-to-win aircraft. And no, I'm not going to pay to win with it. I already bought the J29D, and I really just don't particularly like that aircraft. It's mostly a handling thing. I don't know how to handle it, and I don't fly it. But there's been a lot of changes that have gone into the game, which are good. They've got some changes that I don't think are very good at all. Battle Pass, I still have no idea what this is. It doesn't make any sense, and I'm not interested in it. I'm not even worried about it. It says I'm level 18, or I've passed into level 18, and I haven't done diddly squat with it. I'm not interested in it. It doesn't do anything for me. Um, but this is a game that it's fun to play as long as you get maps and missions that are suitable for the aircraft. And I mean that very seriously. The aircraft needs to be suitable for the map and mission. What is suitable for a Tier 1 aircraft? Let's just take a look. Tier 1, P-36A, probably one of the better performings. The F3F2, another very good performing aircraft at Tier 1, Rank 1, 1.3 battle rating. These little planes can do quite a good job in game. And they are very good at what they do. But you don't want to take them up against an F4U or a P80F or a P80, P40F or a P40E. Those planes are just head and shoulders better. Faster, more firepower, just better all around aircraft. But the problem really starts happening down here. The A7D 9.7 attacker. Now, a lot of people are like, it should be 10.0 because it's got AIM-9Js. Until you start looking at the fact that it's very heavy, its maneuverability is below average due to its weight. As a weapon system, the A7D does its job properly. It's not a fighter. And the people that are equipping it with the 30 millimeter gun pods, at this point, the gun pods are being misrepresented in the game. Those gun pods are over 1,800 pounds each. Not the, well, what was it? 30 millimeter gun pods. Yeah. 30 millimeter gun pods are adding what to the weight of this plane? It's not telling me. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. 307 kilograms, 307.6 kilograms to the total mass of the aircraft. That's for 2 pods. That's not 1, that's 2. Now, give that the 2.2 pounds per kilogram conversion. That takes it up to about 650 pounds. That's a third. The total combined weight of 2 pods is a third of the weight of 1 pod. So basically, the pods are weighing in 1/6 of their total mass. I've got a video that goes over that. This is something that Gaijin has messed up, and they need to repair. Whereas if you go for the 20 millimeter cannons, oh my goodness, 1,300 kilograms. They got that one right. And the reason they got that one right is because the 20 millimeter Su-25 gun pods have been in the game longer. The GPU 5As with the Gauss 13A camera, or cannon, has been in the game since the A7D got entered into the system. The gun pod unit, GPU 5A, weighs in at over 1,800 pounds per unit. The empty weight of that is more than the combined weight of the gun pod units being represented for 2 guns. The only thing they took into account was the weight of the actual weapon, not the pod, not the ammo, not the gun, not the feed system, nothing. They only took into account the gun. Whereas with the Su-25s, with the 20 millimeter Vulcans, they took everything into account. I always wondered how a plane with a 1,800 pound under each wing load could go faster than a bomber that had no load under its wings. Or minimal load, anyhow. I couldn't understand how that plane could run so far ahead of me with those two gun pods. That should have slowed it down considerably. But I'm sure Gaijin will get around to fixing it. So even a plane that I really like and I really do enjoy playing with is not something that Gaijin has gotten right out of the gate. Yes, they nailed it perfectly on the weight of the gun, but they did not take into account the bullets or the pod itself, which brings the weight up. Just like they did not take into account the fact that the SRAM weapon system was never equipped to any plane other than one particular Hunter F6. Not the fleet of F6s, one particular aircraft. I don't know the registration number of that aircraft, but it was only one aircraft. And during testing, it almost shot itself down because the weapon is hyper maneuverable. It almost crashed into the nose of the aircraft during firing. So you can understand why I do not like the SRAM weapon system. As a historical note, it's interesting. As a in-game item, it shouldn't be allowed. And when they shifted the Hunter F6 up to 10.0 and said nothing from 10.0 or above will ever see anything 9.7 or below, it was good. Gaijin finally got something right. They're trying to protect their players so that they can all have a good time. And then they broke their word. Of course, they've broken their word several times over the course of the years. There will never be radar in game. Yeah, funny thing that. We've got radar. There will never be air-to-air missiles in game. Yeah, funny that. We've got sidewinders and sparrows and other things too. Yeah. Gaijin should learn that saying never is the equivalent to telling a lie directly. We'll never sell a top tier aircraft. Yeah, you did though. You really did. When you made the Harrier GR1 and then gave it that bloody weapon system, you made a top tier aircraft. But that's neither here nor there. I won't buy it. And there's a lot of people that have already shilled out their money. They went, get me some of that. Yeah, that's what I really want. I want to be able to go out there and just. Uh-huh. Yeah. Actually, the plane because Gaijin has now broken their word and 9.7s are seeing 10.0 and above. Hey, last night I was in matches that had Phantom F3s or Phantom F4s, E's, and I was playing against them or with them in the A7D. It wasn't exactly fun because that means that also you get to go up against Phantom FGs and FGR2s. And this plane's an attacker. It's a bomber. It's designed to go in and deliver ordnance. The problem is, Gaijin doesn't know how to set up the matches. They really don't. That's something they haven't known how to do in years. And I understand it's a game. But they're still not, they're not learning. They do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then get mad when you point it out to them. At least their monitors on the forums do. Oh, they get right bent out of shape when you point out the fact that Gaijin A, lies about what it's doing, and B, keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over. And eventually they get so mad that they ban you because, hey, you know, that's Gaijin. They put their finger on their little moderators and go, delete this person. We don't like the fact that he's telling people the truth. Cancel culture in a game. Seriously? But again, this comes down to players that seem to think that the game should be set up exactly the way I want it to be. I want it to be set up the way I'd like it too. I'd like it to be more fair for all players to be able to do what their aircraft type is designed to do. That means fighters going in first to soak up the enemy fighters, while the attackers and bombers come in afterwards to plow the ground. And you don't put all the targets on the ground between the two air bases. That's just being stupid and lazy. Probably more lazy than anything else. Unwilling to rework a map to make it worthwhile. None of the maps that I play on, that I like to play on, are that bad. REEEEE is probably the smallest map that I like to play on with this tier of aircraft. The 9.7 to 8.7 battle rating swath. And the reason I don't mind REEEEE is because you can go to the left, you can go to the right. You can get out of the middle of the map where all those fighters are going to tangle. Now, some of those fighters will turn off and head to the left or to the right and see if they can find somebody that they can take out real quick. Haven't got a problem with that, but they got the ground targets spread out enough so that you don't have to fly directly at the enemy. Coruscant, on the other hand, everything is directly between the two air bases. And it's individual little pieces here, there, everywhere. And we don't have the type of weapons that can take out individual targets in mass quantities. And don't get me going on the guns. No, that's not optional. A plane like the A7D or the A4E or the A4B should be using things like CBUs, cluster bomb units, napalm. Yes, those are the type of weapons we should be using on maps where you've got individual little areas where none of the targets line up. You should be able to drop a CBU, which can cover a football field of targets, or a soccer field, if you will, and obliterate them. Because it's got bomblets, hundreds of bomblets that drop out of this big case that looks like a gun pod unit, but it's not. And it falls away and it opens up and bomblets scatter everywhere. And it's just nothing but mass destruction. And we don't get that weapon. Why not? And why don't we get stuff like napalm? Napalm? Oh God. Did we use napalm? Did we use massive loads of napalm? In the Pacific, we used a lot of napalm. Jellied gasoline. You drop it, it pops, and it explodes in fire across a target. Now let's say that's an armored target. Oh, you drive right through it. Yeah, okay. You keep believing that. You just keep believing that. Well, what about the trucks and the open top AAA that's driving along in that tank column? All of a sudden, they go up in flames. Woof! How many targets did you just kill with one napalm drop? Or one cluster bomb drop? These are things that Gaijin has said definitively, we will not be adding napalm to the game. Why? It was used. It's a game. It's not real life. We can drop napalm on AI targets and ain't nobody getting hurt. The same with cluster bombs. We can drop those and ain't nobody getting hurt. Their feelings might get hurt, but that's about it. The spectacularness of the flaming destruction would be epic. But Gaijin has said definitively we will not be putting those weapons into the game. Just like they definitively said, we will not be putting radar into the game. We will not be adding air to air missiles. We will not be. We will not be. We will not be. Yeah. Now, back to the gamers. What you find enjoyable in a match might not be exactly the same thing I find enjoyable in a match. And if you think that you're so. I don't know the correct word, whether you think you're so entitled to have everything your own way, or I don't want to say privileged because that's become a toxic term. I guess entitled has become a toxic term also. But you think that everything has to be your way. I like it this way. That way I can go out there and these slow bombers and fighters and attackers, I can go in and I can slaughter them in job lots. Oh my God, I'm so good. I've got this pay to win aircraft and I'm just winning, winning, winning. Yeah, okay. Please. Take a moment to go outside and look around at the world as it really is. And then take a look at the sky. The night sky would be interesting for you. As long as you live someplace where you can actually see the night sky. Look at the stars and realize just how insignificant you are. If the universe was a block of steel, you would be smaller than the most insignificant electron in that entire block of steel. The planet would be smaller than the most insignificant electron in that block of steel. The sun might be an electron in that block of steel. That's how insignificant you as a person are to the universe. So, when I say your feelings mean nothing to me, I'm not kidding. They really don't mean anything to me. And if I hurt your feelings with my video laughing that the Harrier GR1 got moved up to 10.0, well, you just made my day and make me laugh so much harder. Thank you. This is Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the sky in Air Realistic on the good maps when I want to play my way. Take care, folks.